Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. For decades, Canada and the United States have shared one of the most solid military alliances in the world. But things are changing fast, and not in America's favor. Rising tensions sparked by President Trump's aggressive policies have pushed Canada to reconsider its defense strategy. We're talking tariffs, threats of annexation, and a surge of nationalist sentiment in Canada that's driving a major shift away from American military reliance. Instead, Canada is forming new defense partnerships with European and Asian allies. Deals with France for nuclear submarines and Australia for cutting-edge radar systems signal a seismic change in North American security dynamics. Let's break down the key developments and their potential impact on the future of Canadian defense. Number 1. Canada's break from the US. Why the relationship collapsed. Canada's once strong relationship with the US began crumbling when President Trump imposed a 25% tariff on Canadian imports, blaming immigration issues and fentanyl trafficking, claims widely dismissed as political posturing. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hit back with reciprocal tariffs, escalating tensions. Things took a bizarre turn when Trump floated the idea of annexing Canada as the 51st state, initially seen as a joke, but now a growing diplomatic concern. Trudeau acknowledged that U.S. interest in Canada's natural resources fueled this power play. The tariffs were viewed as an attempt to pressure Canada into submission, triggering a wave of nationalist backlash. The Elbows Up movement emerged as a symbol of defiance, calling for greater economic and military independence from the U.S. Amid mounting pressure, Trudeau resigned, and Mark Carney took over as Prime Minister. Carney immediately called for early elections and vowed to protect Canadian sovereignty. Foreign Minister Melanie Joly warned that Canada's situation could be a warning sign for other nations dependent on the U.S. for security. Carney made it clear, Canada was ready to chart its own path, even if it meant stepping away from American influence. But trade tensions weren't the only trigger. Canada's defense strategy was about to take a sharp turn toward Europe. Number 2. French submarine deal, strengthening Canada's naval defense. In a major shift from relying on US-made defense gear, Canada is turning to France to modernize its submarine fleet. The French nuclear-powered attack submarine FS Tourville recently docked in Halifax, Nova Scotia for cold water performance tests, just 300 miles from the U.S. border. The FS Tourville, a Barracuda-class sub, is known for its stealth, long mission endurance, and advanced intelligence gathering, perfect for Arctic operations. Canada's Royal Navy has committed to a 60 billion Canadian dollars, around 42 billion US dollars investment to overhaul its aging fleet. The contract could bring in 6 to 12 new submarines, with the first expected by 2035. France's Naval Group, which built the FS Tourville, is a top contender for the deal, with full backing from the French government. The move is a strategic response to rising Arctic tensions. Melting ice is opening new shipping routes and increasing the threat of territorial incursions from Russia and China. By partnering with France, Canada aims to strengthen its Arctic naval presence, free from American oversight. This deal signals a broader shift toward European defense alliances, reinforcing Canada's push for military independence from the US. But naval defense isn't Canada's only priority. Its Arctic airspace is also getting a major upgrade. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. This helps us reach more auto enthusiasts just like you. Now let's shift gears and steer towards our next point. Number 3. Australian radar system, Canada's Arctic surveillance upgrade. Canada's push for defense independence is clear in its latest deal with Australia. Prime Minister Mark Carney recently announced a 6.6 billion Canadian dollar, around 4.2 billion US dollar agreement to acquire an advanced over-the-horizon radar system from Australia's Jindalee Operational Radar Network, JORN. This cutting-edge system will significantly enhance Canada's ability to monitor activity in its remote Arctic territories, a growing hotspot for geopolitical tensions. JORN uses ionospheric refraction to bounce radio waves over the horizon, enabling real-time detection of aircraft and vessels up to 3,000 kilometers away. This technology is a game-changer for Arctic security, where extreme weather and vast distances have long hampered traditional radar coverage. For decades, Canada's air defense strategy has been closely tied to the U.S. through NORAD. But with Trump's unpredictable foreign policy and mounting mistrust, Canada is now aiming for greater strategic independence. Prime Minister Carney stressed that Canada needs the capability to secure its own borders without relying on U.S. infrastructure. But it's not just about equipment. Canada is also rethinking its fighter jet strategy. Number 4. Reassessing the F-35 fighter jet contract, a strategic break from the U.S. Canada is reconsidering its $19 billion contract with Lockheed Martin for 88 F-35 fighter jets, signed in June 2023. The deal was meant to be a cornerstone of Canada's air defense and a key part of NATO's integrated defense network. However, Trump's aggressive trade policies and diplomatic unpredictability have cast doubt over the agreement. Defense Minister Bill Blair confirmed that Canada is actively exploring alternatives, including the Eurofighter Typhoon and the French Dassault Rafale. Both jets match the F-35's performance, but come without the strategic limitations tied to American defense agreements. Portugal's recent decision to cancel its F-35 order over concerns about Trump's foreign policy has only deepened Canada's hesitation. Portuguese Defense Minister Nuno Melo warned that Trump's isolationist stance could restrict F-35 maintenance and operational use, raising concerns about long-term reliability. Scrapping the F-35 deal would mark a major shift in U.S.-Canada defense relations. However, Canadian officials have made it clear that national security and strategic independence are now higher priorities than maintaining traditional defense ties with the United States. Canada's shift toward European and Asian partnerships marks a broader geopolitical realignment. Number 5. The rise of new defense partnerships, shifting toward Europe and Asia. Canada's growing defense ties with Europe and Asia reflect a major strategic pivot away from U.S. military dependence. Beyond the French submarine deal and the Australian radar acquisition, Canada is now building new defense partnerships with Japan and South Korea. In 2024, Canada and Japan signed an agreement to increase naval cooperation, conduct joint military exercises, and strengthen intelligence sharing. This reflects Canada's growing interest in the Indo-Pacific region, especially as tensions with China over maritime boundaries and resource claims escalate. Canada's exploration of the Eurofighter Typhoon and the Dassault Rafale instead of the F-35 underscores this shift. Both aircraft offer cutting-edge technology and operational flexibility, without the political baggage of American-built platforms. Foreign Minister Melanie Joly summed it up perfectly. Canada's goal is to establish a multipolar defense framework, reducing reliance on any single ally. With the U.S. becoming increasingly unpredictable under Trump, Canada is positioning itself as a key player in a broader global defense network. Conclusion: the road ahead. Can Canada stand alone? Canada's decision to pivot away from U.S.-built defense systems marks a significant turning point in its strategic identity. Scrapping the F-35 contract, securing French submarines, and investing in Australian radar tech underscore Canada's push for military independence. But this newfound autonomy isn't without risks. Moving away from U.S.-linked defense systems could weaken NORAD's effectiveness and disrupt joint military exercises. Canada's defense industry, deeply connected to American production networks, might face economic fallout if cross-border cooperation declines. What do you think? Can Canada maintain its strength and security without U.S. support? Should Canada rely more on European and Asian allies? Do you see this as a smart move or a risky gamble? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Piston Pundit for more updates on global defense shifts. Thanks for watching and see you next time.